All right, there we go.
Is that what I need to-
All right, we'll call this meeting to order. First thing I was thinking, Tammy, you should get some kind of award for showing up this morning after a big weekend. No. So I don't know, I haven't come up with the award yet, but give me a little bit. I'll think of one. The perseverance or, something of that nature. Very good.
Yeah.
No, it was
You
great.
gotta clean up now.
What a great event. Man, just packed, tons of people, nice weather,
Beautiful weather, no kerfuffle.
good feedback from the artists, I
The artists
understand.
were quite happy. so
Wow.
it was great.
Terrific.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks to you and your crew for orchestrating that. Yeah. All right, first order of business is minutes. We have minutes from our last soiree, June 2nd, in your package. Anything there look unusual? They've been expertly prepared as usual by Kelly.
Sorry for the weird highlighting. we couldn't figure out why it was doing
Oh,
that.
all right.
That is nothing.
I was
To
actually
be-
wondering, but I
There's
was gonna
nothing to
ask.
be highlighted.
Are you using AI now? Is that?
No, I was out half of last week, so when I was doing these on Friday, I just
Maybe.
picked my battles.
All right. No,
So that is nothing.
no problem.
per se.
No problem. Any, all
Necessary skill.
right, second.
Support.
All right, very good. Any more discussion about minutes? Very good. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Nay? Any nays? No. Nays. All right, financials. We have our usual financial summary. Packet page 6, I think, is the operative page. Help me out here, Kelly.
Mhm.
This says 530, but I think it's actually the June one, is it?
Yes, I probably did not change that. I apologize.
Okay, that's okay. I thought it was the
Yep.
June. So basically, this is the full fiscal year, isn't it?
It is, it's not
Subject to audit.
correct. Well, it's not final.
Not final.
Ben is still wrapping everything up, so, they
Okay,
should be pretty darn close,
Okay.
so,
all right. So these are pretty close to the final numbers for this year.
correct.
I think we basically came in where we thought we would within a few $1,000s
Yep.
type thing.
Absolutely.
So that all looks good on the operating budget. Now on the, I did have a question on the, on this capital piece
Mhm.
below. How did did we handle that in the committee? Did we have to like roll over those monies or reapprove them or anything like that?
Moving forward.
Yeah,
I
because we
would
have a
ass-
lot of money unspent, right?
Well, right, if you
Yeah.
look down, we still have quite a bit in
Right,
sign and
right,
wayfinding to come
right.
out. We've gotten 2 of the 3 invoices. I'll give an update on that. So I'm
Sure,
super
sure.
excited.
Right.
But there's about, I want to say 80 to 90,000 still to come out of that. I'll
But-
have to check with Emily on the rollover.
Well, I was worried, the mechanics is what I was thinking
Right.
about. I know in the past, like when we had funds left over, we had to approve that, the commission had to approve
Yep.
them that they would roll to the next year, so. I don't-
I'll
I don't-
check with them on that.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
So,
whatever the mechanics are, we need to do that. And I'm assuming we're not gonna have any new approval for this coming year,
as far as,
as far as capital, because each
Uh,
year,
not that I've heard.
okay, okay. All right. So basically, we may end up, if all these numbers prove to be accurate, ultimately, we'll have like 60 grand left.
Yeah.
Residual. So, okay. Any questions about anything? We'll get the final year-end stuff here.
Robert,
Well, I'm just
hot
coming
mess
in and
over
disrupting
there.
everything, aren't I?
I think Robert's here. He's here.
Sorry, guys. Oh, my goodness, yeah, so we know who to blame.
All right.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, all right. So with that, is there any, I don't know, any questions, comments, anything about the financials? I mean, it looks like our year came in pretty much where we had anticipated. Capital, we're still working through that. I don't know, anything else? Anybody have any,
No.
keeping them up at night, anything? No? We get a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Yeah, second, somebody? Tammy, Any more discussion about the financials? All right, all in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? All right. Financials approved. All right, next item. In keeping with the financial theme, the fiscal year has started July 1.
Mhm.
So we needed to approve our 25-26 budget, something we should have done last time, but we talked about it. We looked at all the numbers. Kelly has included them again here in the package. Not dramatically different than our spending pattern the last year. So little bumps here and there for just kind of inflationary increases, I guess I'd call it. Nothing unusual in terms of spending. So I don't know if anybody has questions for Kelly or anything. Now, it's a little, I guess it's a little academic, right? The commission has approved the budget in a
Yeah.
way. So we're just, we're the, what is that? The cart following the horse or the horse following the cart, or I don't know, whatever that expression is, that's what we're doing.
The approved amount was,
Whatever that is, I don't know.
the commission approved amount was $100 more than what you guys originally approved. so
Oh, right,
Mm.
a whole 100.
Don't
There you
spend it
go.
all in one spot.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Thank
Well, the
you.
difference is
Thank
some
you for that.
professional membership dues, so,
Right.
Yeah.
so we are spending it all.
Can we get a motion to approve the budget as pointed out here?
Move to approve the budget.
Thank you, Tammy. And a second?
I'll second.
Robert, all right. Any more discussion about the budget? All right, all in favor of approving the 25-26 budget, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. All right, budget's approved. Okay, next item is the project list. So this is something we've been talking about for some time. In your package, on page 26 is a listing of various projects, and Chris had a good suggestion about accumulating those by type of activity, capital, promotional items, amenities, that type of thing, which I thought was a good idea. And then I'm gathering then, Kelly, these X's are where people have
Yes.
given you those as part of their lists that
Yep.
they provided you.
I heard from, I think, 3 or 4 of you, and I took the liberty of copying your spreadsheet, if you
Sure.
don't mind, or your chart, and the X's are just kind of where everyone prioritized. I do have the original list. I didn't include it because this pretty much, I kind of combined everything
Sure.
together
Sure.
for,
Yep.
just to make it easier. I really, would like some focus on this, just so that we can kind of say, hey, these are our goals, our priorities, because that's one of the things, as Emily and I've met with the
Right.
downtown businesses, it's like, what was the parking money gonna go to? And it's like,
Right.
well, the DDA is working on it. It'd be nice to have some tangible, like,
What do you think we want to end up on this, Kelly? Do we need like, I don't know, 3 to 5 items
that's,
kind of
I think would
thing?
be good.
Do you think we need to come up with some, cost estimates or what we might throw at that particular
Yeah, or just,
activity?
yeah, I mean, I think if we, obviously if you look at the list, streetscape improvements, public art, business grants, those were the top 3.
Yep,
If you want me to investigate those further, just kind of the logistics costs, that type of thing, that's kind of where I was
Yeah,
taking it. If
I think
that's
that-
not
I
what
think,
you want, I'll do.
what do you think? I mean, I think that makes sense, huh? We identify the top 3 or 4.
All of
and
it's
then-
academic at this point because we don't have any
It
parking
is,
revenue.
it is.
Correct.
it is.
So if we're gonna be next year, at the end
Yeah,
of
yeah.
next year, we
Yeah.
could do these things. Yeah, it's good to give people things, but priorities might shift over a year.
Sure.
Um,
This is a snapshot
people-
in time, right?
so, yeah, I mean, because when we were first tasked with making this list, it was on the assumption that there was gonna be actual money to be
Correct.
spent this
That's
year.
right. Yep.
Correct.
And that's not a thing that's happening.
Right.
So it's just an academic exercise at this point, for something that might happen someday in the future. And yes, I'm frustrated by that, so.
Well, I think
Coming
that-
through,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think the ones that the most people have weighed in on are top 3, those should be the 3 we're presenting because they have, consistently been the things that people have supported. And there's a couple on here, I don't know, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but like the bike repair kiosk, I think that's a really cheap, easy thing, cause we've already done, so I would put a Max mark by that one too. I don't know where it would go, whatever, but I think it's a tangible,
Yep.
easy thing. If it's been here before, I never noticed it, so I would like to put my check mark by that.
So,
I'll add it
so,
now.
so maybe the approach is, I understand that we're in a little bit of limbo on this whole thing, right?
That's
But
what we do best.
as we go back out to the, if, hopefully when we go back to promote this program again, having these, as our target activities, I think would make sense.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I would like to point out that this list and this discussion has been happening for 2 years.
Yes.
And it
yes.
was out there for anybody who was interested in seeing it.
True.
And
fair,
it's been
fair.
in minutes after minutes after minutes after minutes. And if we're gonna kind of somehow formalize or finalize this, is cool. But this isn't something we kept secret or never talked about.
No,
Or
true.
wasn't part of the parking discussion ever. It's always been
Always been,
there. And I
sure.
would like it to be on the record that this has
Sure.
been in the record and in the public domain
Sure.
for at least 3 years.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were waiting for money to fall out of the sky
Yes.
and then say, oh, what do we do with that? Right.
I mean,
It's a
I'm
fair,
a
it's a
little
fair point.
irritated by the narrative that like this was all done in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And we never
Sure.
talked about it and nobody knows, maybe nobody knows, but nobody's paying attention.
Understood.
And so
Fair, it's
it's
a
very
it's a
frustrating to
Fair,
me.
fair comment.
Sure.
Chris, go ahead.
Well, the reason I was categorizing it is I think that there are 3 different things. The capital improvement stuff is really important.
Yeah.
And again, getting back to what Deb just said.
Yeah.
One of the reasons for the parking fee was to be able to find a way to fund the street improvements, which is millions. So I think that when you're talking about capital improvements and things, the physical improvements, those millions of dollars, but then you go back to the bike repair kiosk, that's kind of small. So I think that what we need to do is have everyone participate in the list. So we clearly have everyone weighing in and then take the time on the ones that rate the highest, take your time evaluating the economics of those, because again, we could probably we could probably petition the commission to buy a kiosk course in a year or 2.
Sure.
Because that's really not that's not a big deal, and that's no different than the temporary crossing at Main Street at 221.
Right.
That was projected 120, came in at 80,000.
Right.
And so we spent $80,000 to have that temporary fixed for a couple years, and it's worked really well.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so I kind of, and then the promotional things are things that we should all be thinking about, and those don't necessarily rely totally on monies that we're going to get, but I think we do need, as you said, Tom.
Yeah.
And Deb said too, people have to know why we're doing it.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
these are the things that we're gonna do. We think the downtown needs to be improved. Some people, as you said in terms of your interviews, one of the uphill struggles is going to be, there's lots of people that think the downtown's just great the way it is. It's wonderful, it's charming, but again, when you replace a bakery with a t-shirt shop, that should ring a bell.
Mm.
And it doesn't. Okay,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah,
really
yeah.
have an educational thing, and part of these, this is the vision, okay?
Sure.
This is an item by item, dollar by dollar vision, and maybe we're wrong. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe we're wrong, and nothing needs to be fixed. So,
I would also like to add the Pleasant Street Plaza redevelopment. Because parking has
How you doing
gotten
there? Kate?
a lot of negative press for certain businesses on the Pleasant Street, on that side of the street. So I would like to point out again on the record, Pleasant Street Plaza redevelopment, money was allocated years before paid parking became a thing that got implemented. That money was budgeted and allocated for public activation grant money 2.5 years ago. And for legitimate reasons, it's been delayed and delayed and delayed. But I would like that money to not be part of the parking revenue unless we're talking about redeveloping it to the tunes of millions of dollars, which would be awesome. But as it stands, Pleasant Street or the Court Plaza Park was a project that predates paid parking. And the money was already allocated for it before parking revenue entered the conversation.
Yeah, fair. It's a fair comment. So on this, on this list here, I think, you know, taking into consideration all these comments, I think, you know, the idea of identifying, you know, our targets, let's go with the top three here, I guess, and then maybe Kelly, we can work on, you know, fleshing out some ranges at least of cost, because ultimately, if we go back to the well on parking, we'll want to be able to articulate those things. And you're right. I mean, some of these things are maybe more minor. We may choose to pick them up in some other financing form. You know, we're going to have I think we're going to end up with a fund balance that's fairly sizable that we might be able to use for some of these activities and be doing things
Yeah.
proactively as opposed to waiting for, you know, something else to happen. So, I think, but maybe that's the approach we take, if that makes sense. Please.
Just say the public art has multiple ideas behind it, so it might be better to say public programs, because I feel like
Yeah.
if we say public art, people are gonna immediately think we're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And
You
I
know,
was just curious for clarification, Chris, when you say everyone should weigh in, I wasn't clear what you meant. by
All the DDA members should fill out the list and send it to Kelly.
Yep.
So it's a clear cross-section of
Yep.
what we think.
And I will say, admittedly, I am in that category of one who did not fill it out because why? You know,
Yeah.
kind of what Deb was saying, it's kind of academic at this point. Is this gonna, you know, we're in a high limbo situation here. You know, we can probably look at this from a standpoint of, you know, depending on how this continues, you know, are we looking at, you know, maybe some low revenue goals and then maybe some higher revenue goals?
Well, I think that's part of it, but the other thing is, you know, we only believe in all the things we want to do for downtown if we can get the public to accept paid parking. And if we don't get paid parking, then we don't have a vision? Or do we have a vision regardless of whether it's paid for with parking or with
Sure.
other funds or with grants or with
Sure.
anything else? So
Sure.
again, you know, we should not lose our credibility from the standpoint of downtown development authority is to fix the downtown. Okay, it's a non-political thing. What do you think? That's why we're here. Been doing a good job for a number of years. So our vision can be our vision. We don't have to worry about the specifics. It's not our decision to figure out the
Sure.
specifics of what
Yeah.
gets funded. Okay, we just make the recommendations of this. This is a vision that should be funded. This is something we should participate in, and we recommend it. That's what we do, and we send it up to the commission, and they do what they want, and we send it out to the public, and they do what they want. So I think it's fair to do it.
Yeah, all fair comments. Andrew, did you have?
Can I throw a little
Yep.
wrench in this whole discussion?
Sure.
So we're, the team at the city and I have been talking about the whole TIF plan discussion, which
Ah,
I
right.
remember last fall, we got to maybe the 10 or 15 yard line and then had some things we had to do
Sure.
to readjust, so.
Right.
That does include, the TIF plan will include a pretty detailed capital improvements plan, and it's,
Right.
you have to look at that whole 30-year projected capture and then say how you know, propose spending.
You use that money.
That, it doesn't have to be down to the penny or.
Right.
You know, the day or the month you're gonna do
Right.
this stuff, so there will be some things that require having a plan in place. and that'll
So
be
So this would,
Pretty soon.
yeah, so this would fit into that. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
And
okay.
To Chris's point, I think.
So multiple
You just have to
uses.
get the plan out there.
Yep.
And then hopefully there are ways to fund it, and there's a couple big ones that I think we're optimistic might still happen.
I think we're on the same page here on this. Kelly, we confused you sufficiently.
No,
Yeah, right. okay.
not at all.
right.
So I'll take the top three and just
All right.
kind of flesh that out.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Okay,
because I think it's multiple uses,
Yep.
like I think at the end. So,
perfect.
very good. All right,
Kelly, I'll
let's.
get you my list in the next 48 hours.
Thank you.
Oh,
I know where to find you.
Meg, yeah, well, tonight you know where to find him, that's for sure.
That's-
That's right. All right, next item, wayfinding. So I have to chuckle about the wayfinding thing for a minute. I'm looking through the packet here. And I was looking through the pictures that you sent and I said, man, those signs look great in the shop, don't they? So, now, I don't know, it just struck me as, you know, and I looked at them, I said, look at them, those things are terrific. Wouldn't they look great on the street?
give it about a
Sorry,
week, you're
sorry,
fine.
I had to say that. Anyway, go ahead on the wayfind.
All right. So as you can see, they're done. They are being shipped to the installer this last week or early this week. They're gonna start doing foundations this week.
Yeah.
So, we obviously wanted to wait to get through, almost said Christmas. Wow, frazzle. Sorry, I don't know where
Yeah.
Christmas came from.
Yeah.
4th of
July.
July.
Christmas in July.
It's like, I know, finally gonna get our
Yeah.
signs.
There you go.
So
Didn't you have some
We had to-
MDOT thing you had to work through?
we had to go
too?
through the whole MDOT permitting process
Yeah.
and we had to have the maintenance agreement with MDOT, like.
Oh,
it's-
wow.
There was a lot of
Okay.
steps because I think there's 11 or 12 along the Main Street
Yeah.
corridor. And I was like, why can't you put all the other ones in and
Yeah,
then do
right,
MDOT? And
right,
it
yeah.
was not,
Yeah.
financially, it wasn't gonna make sense.
Were
'cause the
they
installers-
helpful, MDOT? I mean, were
Yes,
they- okay,
absolutely.
okay. Yeah, just
It's been very
curious if they
smooth.
were.
It just is not a quick process,
Sure,
like any
sure.
permitting process. So,
Okay.
Greg and I met with the installer and our contractor from Fairmont last week just to get a game plan, and you should start seeing some work here in the next couple days. I'm gonna confirm this morning when they're actually coming in. We did the pre-submittal last week. Greg did. So yeah, I'm hoping definitely by the next time we meet, we're gonna have signs, but in the next 2 weeks, they should be going
Great.
in. And I wasn't here at the beginning of this whole process,
Sure.
but my first thought was, holy moly, they're huge. Like I've seen all the
Yeah,
drawings and everything,
yeah.
but having someone stand next to them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I know, they're gonna be noticed and they're very nice, so.
They look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do look good.
I think they look
do
great.
look good.
I mean, that's, they look terrific. Very good. All right, good. That's great news. We'll look forward to the signs hitting the street. So related to this, or not necessarily related, but kind of sorta, is the MDOT lighting thing. So this is something that's always, I've always wondered about this and this whole MDOT project. I know Emily's looking at me already. So this has always been interesting to me because my assumption is, let's say we didn't want to do anything on Main Street, right? And MDOT was going to come in, they're going to redo the whole street. My presumption always was that they'd spend some money on some amenities, whatever, however however they choose to define that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think the number be zero, but it might be nominal, let's say. So I see this, so I'm assuming where this is going is we foot the bill for this.
Oh, yes.
Right, but but my other thought then would be, they had some lighting in their project, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah. So.
so help me out here.
I can take this one. I want to pause and apologize for being late. I probably would have been late anyways, but then I had car problems.
Shame
So
on
I
you.
apologize.
Oh,
Not
wait, I
a
was
fun
late
start
too,
to the
so
day.
never mind.
I mean, I'm always a little bit late. It's part of my charm. Just didn't mean to be that late. The lighting is actually provided by AEP, and we have an agreement with them. And so I think that MDOT, to answer your question, will not do much in terms of streetscape period.
Sure.
I always say they give us the MDOT treatment, which I'm sure is
Sure,
something.
Sure.
You know, they're not trying to make it ugly, but they are not trying to make it what we want it to be.
Fair.
And so I think we would probably continue to have the AEP lighting, which is just the standard Cobra head.
The institutional lighting.
Yes.
let's
And so
call
we
it.
have talked a little bit about maybe on Main Street, that's okay. Maybe on Ship and Port over here, that's okay. Maybe it's not, right? And maybe we want it just for the 3, 4, 5 blocks of Main Street right in the downtown. And then beyond that, because they're going all the way down to the AT&T store, we go back to Cobra head lighting. So I think we have a lot of flexibility. They also do black Cobra head lighting now, which would be nice. And, you know, a lot of what you see in your packet on page 31 is black. So we could at least tie it in and it wouldn't be sort of a jarring change. But we do need to make some decisions about this. Kelly and I are both not the experts. Tim is really the expert on this project. But what I can tell you, I probably can't give you all the whys, but I can tell you that they need us to weigh in on lighting pretty soon.
Hmm.
We've already had a few meetings with them at the staff level. They have a historian
A historian.
who, mhm,
Wow.
who, it's the State Historic Preservation Office, who needs to weigh in on what we do and make sure that she's comfortable.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so,
Oh, boy.
with our blessing,
Have we met the historian? Is that
I have never met the
Curiosity.
historian. The
Okay.
historian doesn't join the phone calls. She's behind closed doors. Little Wizard of Oz like.
Okay.
We have shared these lights. This mock-up was put together by Jones Petrie Rafinski based on the streetscape that they've done
Yep.
for us and tying it into the other streetscape work that they've done.
Yep.
And these were 6 lighting options, vehicular and pedestrian, that they really liked. So they have shared, so JPR shared this with MDOT. MDOT shared this with their historian.
Oh.
Their historian, I don't think we have an official anything, but their historian seemed comfortable
Ah,
with
right.
much of this.
Okay.
So I think the question is, are we also
Yeah.
comfortable with much of this? I
Wow.
think if we could have a conversation and say like, yep, we're good, or no, we hate this one, let's strike it before MDOT gets their heart set on it, that would be really helpful.
Is, so then ultimately, Emily, just being, kind of dollars and cents kind of thing. I mean, if we say, if we picked one of these and we said we wanted to do 3 blocks or whatever we choose to do, we're gonna probably have to come up with the money, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
So we'll have to work on that.
Are there big dollar differences between the
I
designs?
don't know off the top of my head. I don't, have you
I
seen
don't
it?
know. I have not.
We can get back to you.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I tend to be a boring traditionalist on this stuff. The only one, the one that looks nice to me is the second one on the left. It's
love
kind
that
of
one.
a
Yeah,
basic.
My favorite.
I like
too.
that
Yeah, I
too.
mean, the other ones are a
Yeah.
little modern for me. I'm a prude, I guess, on that.
Yeah,
It's
I
got a mixture of
also-
modern and charm to it, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. I
it's-
mean,
mhm.
when I think of us doing, Chris doing something grander, on State or Broad or whatever, it would seem to me that'd be the look you'd be.
The other vehicle ones don't seem much different than the ones that are there. They
Mhm.
seem the same, so if we're gonna change them, it should be a noticeable,
Yeah.
visible difference.
Talk with AEP about the lights at all.
Yes, they were on one of our calls.
That was not even a helpful question. Let me tell you what I'm getting at. So
Great.
I have not worked with AEP on their lighting. Consumers Energy I have, and they're very similar in the way that they handle stuff. They have 4 or 5 models that that's it, but they don't have just one. So AEP may have a couple options for you to look at.
Yeah, I think that we have explored that. I don't think that there was anything other than the Cobra heads in different colors. I can confirm that. They have not offered something more exciting to date. I will.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you about.
Okay,
this, or they
will
may
do.
not, But I know Consumers does, so.
Okay,
Probably worth an ask.
okay.
So we're kind of looking at this, just for clarity's sake, that this is gonna be the starting point of what we will eventually be bringing into the downtown. Is that what we're saying?
I mean, I think if we want the rest of the downtown to match Main Street. then
similar.
yes.
Sure.
And I
Yeah,
think
you
we
wouldn't want
probably
to do,
do.
you wouldn't want
I
to do
think- I
something
think That
different.
would be
Deb's-
fantastic.
point.
I think
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
That's right.
So then am I hearing correctly that you like the Solana for both vehicular and pedestrian?
Personally, I
Yeah.
like the Solana for vehicular. I like the Ashbury myself for the pedestrian. I don't know. if
I'd go with
that's-
that too.
Yeah,
I also,
Where,
those were the two
where do you
I
see those
circled.
names?
the top
They're
right.
right under the
Option
picture.
1 on the right.
It says the name right on the picture.
Right, I see it.
Oh, yours is kind of missing.
But I also
It-
like the
Yeah, it should
Solana
be right there.
pedestrian,
Oh, I
like the
don't see- yeah,
pedestrian ones,
yeah.
I think all 3
Yeah,
of
right
them
there.
would look good.
Hard copy. So-
They would all match the new
Ah, right, right,
signage.
right.
so
Oh,
it's
Yeah,
very visible.
and it kind of goes along that traditionalist.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, so what we're saying is what is it, the Solana is like over the street kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then
It's
maybe
vehicular,
along
so
the-
it's taller.
If you got a wide pedestrian thing, you need another light, you use something like the Ashbury. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, the
that-
lights are different on the street than they
Yeah,
are
yeah,
down
yeah.
Pleasant
Yeah, yeah,
Street.
yeah.
They're-
The Ashbury, you guys might love this, has a little, you can see there's a little like fake
Candle.
faux candle
Oh, cute.
that sticks up and sort of flickers.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that-
cool.
Do I have that right?
Oh, that's cute. I
When we
do see
did our
that
little
now.
Yeah,
field trip,
yeah.
all three of us, there, I don't know if it was this one, but it looked very similar to this, cause I have pictures of it.
Yeah,
This-
I
that's
think
the
it was
we
that
looked
one.
at? Okay.
So what are
was
you
the one I
gonna,
wrote.
what,
Just for additional comments, if you look at your Asbury and you look at the colonial red brick thing behind it, it's kind of showing you the character
yep,
of where that light works best, which
Yep.
is why the design consultants are picking it. And so if in fact that's the character of our downtown, then that's probably the right character for the light. But if you want something a little bit more contemporary in terms of what the downtown's gonna look for, which we'll see next in terms of Lake and Broad, we probably are, our downtown's gonna probably end up looking more like option 2 or more like option 3. So keep that in mind before we have to make the final decision. And then the other thing under vehicle lighting, look at the inset. The inset picture shows a wedge of an extended arm out to the light. But if you look at the overall picture, it's a straight arm with a little wire across the top. And again, I like the inset. I don't like the one that's shown on the big picture. And so are they really the same light? And you know,
Mhm.
what's the real cut sheet on the product going to be?
Yeah, I
What-
agree with you.
what do-
Chris.
what
I
do
like
we-
the- I like
Good
the
catch,
inset.
Chris.
What- so what do we
Yeah.
have to, what do we have to give them now?
So I
Pamela?
think vehicular is what matters most right now.
Okay, right.
And what I'm hearing is we like the Solana inset, not the Solana.
Correct.
I like
Uh,
the Solana and I actually like the larger photo of it better, but I think I'm fine with either. Yeah,
I
I
draw
actually
the
prefer that.
group's attention just to one last thing. I know we haven't even talked about the Torres, but there is something interesting there that it's got the Cobra light. And if you look down towards the bottom, there's also a pedestrian light that comes off in the other direction.
That's nice.
So you
Oh,
get
I see.
both, you get the light
Yeah.
over the street and you get something, I don't know if these, that doesn't change whatever you feel about the aesthetics, but from a functional standpoint, it's kind of cool that it's got both.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
And I would say that vehicular, the only one I really don't like is option 3.
Same.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so option 3 is out. We can ask JPR maybe to give us another option 3, if we want to.
So what do
or
you
we
tell
can
them
just-
for now that we're in on lighting and we'll figure out a way to pay for it?
I think for now,
basically?
we're gonna explore the Solana further.
Okay,
We'll understand the inset versus the bigger picture. We'll understand the pricing a little bit more. We'll find out if the historian,
it's okay,
comfortable.
right, yeah.
if that's the only one she was gonna say no to, then, you know, back to the drawing
That's
board.
right, yeah.
But we'll continue the conversation focusing on Solana.
I have one more comment. I don't know where is Sternberg? Do we know Sternberg lighting?
They're already. I want to say Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure.
I was gonna say like Wisconsin, but I believe you, Chris.
I do like the idea of Landscape Forums being Michigan-based.
I do
company, and
too.
I think they do excellent work, so I would just put that in there as a consideration.
And I'd echo that too. I've done more stuff with Landscape Farms than with any of these other lighting companies.
Yeah, you wonder
For
if you,
decades.
if you start mixing vendors too, that's probably not efficient.
Yeah, Peru, Illinois?
Peru,
Peru.
wow.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It's a real place.
That's a real place. It
Yeah,
is a
but
real
no, this is like a mattress sale.
place.
This is not outdoor furniture.
They do both, yeah.
Street, oh, still Illinois, different business,
Where is it?
outside of Chicago.
What town? What's the town? It's not important. It's-
Just had it.
Geneva, oh, sorry, those are.
Oh, Geneva,
shores.
sure. West.
Goes to the west of downtown.
Yeah.
So it's one of the boroughs.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Emily, we given you enough to
Yeah,
work with
this is
now?
a good
All
starting
right.
point. Thank you.
Very good. All right, next item, development activity subgroup. So a few meetings ago, I can't remember exactly when, I talked about putting together a group to kind of a subgroup of our organization here, and we had volunteers and all that. And we're kind of talking about development and how we fill, attract businesses to fill empty spaces and things of that nature. I had, frankly, I had kind of just sat on this, given all the, the parking hell we were in for a little while.
Thank you.
So we kind of just sat on that. So, but I'd like to rekindle that at this juncture. So what I'll do is I still have the list of those who had raised their hand to participate in this. So I will kind of rekindle that and see if maybe we can get together for an initial meeting and get the kind of formulate how we want to focus and what we want to do to be able to be productive.
If I could just make a recommendation, the sessions we did with Joe Borgstrom a
Yes,
year or so ago, I
Yep.
think we finished up right before Kelly started, which was horrible timing.
The last one was my first day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were great for
Mhm.
this
They were good.
purpose. Andrew, if you could ask Joe to send those materials, that would be super helpful from those sessions. And then maybe if you could join, at least for the kickoff meeting for the development activity subgroup, that would be really helpful. Just to get the information shared and help with some of the continuity. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
that'd be great.
Can I make one comment on that as well?
Please.
I don't know that I'll be part of the subgroup, but, the arts and culture sector often talks about how to promote ourselves collectively.
Yes.
And we know that we draw business to the area, so, just a plug to include arts and culture and what we can bring to help attract people to the downtown.
Yeah, no, I
We
appreciate
have here in
that.
this area.
No, it's very important. It's very important, it's, we seem well-rounded, I think is maybe the way to think about it, right? As we should be. All right, I think, those materials, I was thinking about that, Emily, I probably have some of those. I might not have the complete, because I was able to make some of those meetings, but I didn't make all of them. So Andrew, if you could help us with that, that would be helpful. All right, very good. Next, the DDA board. So we talked about this a little bit in the prior meetings. We currently have a board of 9, which was approved, I'm sure, some time ago. We currently have 1 opening, Stephanie's position. And there's been a lot of discussion about expanding the board. And I think the last time we just broached the topic of maybe going to more members. I think somebody had initially said 12, and we said, well, maybe we should keep it odd number just in the event we have some kind of vote, and we need to be able to get to a completion on that. So 11 seemed to be the number we were kicking around. So if we did that, we'd have 3 openings, 1 from the present board, 2 new ones. I think, help us out here, Kelly, in your notes, you say we have
We have 8 applicants as
8
of this
applicants. Wow.
morning. Yep.
Yeah, great.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
If
Go ahead,
in the
Rob.
future, right now, we obviously have a lot of interest in people joining. If that changes further on down the road, how difficult is it for us to say, all right, we're gonna go back to our original 9?
Meaning as far as if people just
If
don't
people
want to
drop
be.
off and, it's not what I thought it was, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
Well, you
participate.
can operate with less members, I assume.
You can
Yeah.
operate
Yeah.
with vacancies.
Yeah.
Right,
And to change it would be the same process.
Yeah.
type
Okay.
of thing, which
Yeah.
is the commission approves it and this group updates the bylaws.
Yeah, so
my concern would be, operating.
Yeah, yeah. that's
Well,
it.
if you have vacancies, then your quorum is of the active people. So
Oh,
if
okay,
you
all right.
have up to 12 members, but you only have 9 members at the time, your quorum is 5.
Okay, perfect.
So.
Okay. So, in terms of just process here, so are you guys looking for a recommendation from us to increase the board membership from 9 to 11?
We have to change our bylaws.
Yeah,
It-
so we have, I'm sure
That
there's,
comes after commission approval.
I'm
right?
sure there's some mechanical things here.
Commission.
I think if that is your recommendation,
Yeah, okay.
then we are looking.
So
for
we
you
can
to
talk about
say
that.
so.
I
And then we'd come back if the commission
Right.
concurs and we'd change the bylaws.
mean, I don't know, I'm betwixt and between on this issue, to be frank with you. I don't necessarily, sometimes more is not, more is less, I guess. Is that the way to think about that? You know, sometimes it gets unwieldy, more people, but that's, you know, we only have 5 commissioners, interestingly. And we'd be doubling the size of the commission. So I'm not sure. I think a lot of this obviously is driven by the current environment, as Robert's pointing out here.
Sure.
But, you know, on the other hand, we invite participation. I don't, we're not trying to exclude people from participating. They're welcome to
How-
attend any meetings that
How
we
big
have.
are the
If
other
we had
boards?
more members, wouldn't that help give insight as to what the DDA is actually doing? I think that
Yeah,
part
that's-
of
that's-
the
yeah.
hurdles that we've experienced is people just, doesn't seem as though they're aware of what our goals are.
And
And
more
if we-
people on the board is not going to ensure.
I was
Not
just gonna say
not
that's not gonna
necessarily.
change
Not
anything.
necessarily.
What have we done wrong for the last 3.5 years that nobody knows that parking was on the table?
Oh, sure,
Now,
yeah, no, I
let's-
like.
now let's get 11 people on the board. What are we now gonna do to get the public to understand what's going on? So I'm not for increasing it until why don't we interview for the spot that's left? And of these 7 or 8 candidates, find out if we interview them and we've got 5 great candidates out of the 8, well, maybe we should expand the board to 13, right?
Sure.
I mean, so again, I vote for not having a knee-jerk reaction to all the turmoil that's going on right now. Let's replace the one we have.
Okay.
Find out why do all these people want to be on? I mean, I don't know how you're gonna interview them or whatever, but
Yep.
find out what they want and what they think we're missing and not doing.
Sure.
We'll get that from the people who want to join this board. What are just like when we fill out our own forms, why do you want to be here? What's your background, all this and all that? And then let's replace Stephanie. And then if we have another 1 or 2 or 3 more candidates out of that process that are good, well then let's talk about expanding it then, but let's not expand it just because everyone's under pressure at this juncture.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Emily and Kelly, but the commission doesn't necessarily need our recommendation to increase the size of the board. And it seems to me there's a bit of a groundswell or some pressure, if you will, to expand the board. I may be wrong on this, Brooke, but that's the way it seems to me a little bit.
It was a suggestion
Yeah.
that was just direction from the commission
Sure.
for this body to
Sure.
kick this
To
idea
take-
around
take
and
it.
then
Yep,
bring the
yep.
suggestion back.
So it may be, I guess where I'm going on this is maybe academic, right? I mean, if the commission decides, hey, we want more people on that board just to get more representation, blah, 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 whatever. Maybe it doesn't matter.
How
what we
how
do.
many
if they-
people sit on other commissions?
That's a good question, yeah.
What was that?
How many, on the,
Or on all the other
what's
boards and
on
commissions?
planning, what else we have, all kinds of stuff.
I think that, I want to say 9 is probably our,
So if it's
biggest.
standard for all the other commissions to have,
it's
Well,
not,
9.
it's not. They
It's not.
vary. They absolutely vary, but I
like, how
Off the
many are
top
on
of my-
parks?
don't
Because
know.
to me, that would seem like one that people.
I
would
think
want.
planning commission is 9.
Mm.
And
I don't know that the number is telling in and of itself. I've been on boards where you figure out what does the board need? What demographics do you need to make that board function? And I'd love to see like a graph of like, what are we fulfilling right now? Is it business owners, residents, west side, east side? Like, what are we missing? And then we fill those gaps instead of just throwing more numbers at it. That doesn't make sense because if we're just crowding the board with bodies, that's not gonna do anything for us. We need to make it strategic so that if there's some missing demographic that we need, we find that person and we fill that gap.
I think that's a fair comment. As Chris points out, we have an opening. I mean, we gotta identify someone to fill the board. So maybe, maybe that's the approach. And maybe we park this issue of expansion for now and we go through the interview process and, if we can fulfill what Brooke's outlining that, hey, we think we need another West Side business. Let me just throw that out there.
But we start with what we have now, like what are we fulfilling already? And maybe
Yeah.
it's sufficient. Maybe we
Yeah.
find that there's
Yeah.
really no room. We don't need duplicates of everything.
I don't think in the bylaws, the only requirement is we have one resident, isn't that
that's
if I
correct.
remember
And-
correctly?
It's
So,
more than just, I mean, mayor's one, residents one,
yeah,
business owners one.
I think it's something along the lines of a majority of the members must be stakeholders in the downtown. And
Okay.
then, I don't know if stakeholders is the exact word, but then it's defined as business owner, manager, employee. It's pretty broad.
okay.
But the majority need to be invested in the downtown.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we clearly you know, that clearly fulfill that obligation. I mean, you know, people could argue with the mix and, you know, now we get into, you know, micro analysis of the geography of where people live and sleep and what have you. So, so, I don't know, it seems to me what we're probably suggesting here is that we proceed with the interview process for the open position. And, you know, we let that play out and, you know, then we see
Do
where
you
we
want
are.
Us
you know.
to like weigh in what our position is, we want it expanded or not? Do like, cause I mean.
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
say
that's,
don't.
I think we're suggesting we don't.
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean, that's
expand
what,
it. Yeah,
Yeah, again,
That's what
and
I'm
I think
hearing.
that's a very firm ground for us to stand on because we are not supposed to be a political body.
Right.
And so if in fact the politicians are getting pressure, then that's why they run and that's why they're the leaders and that's why they vote and
Right.
ours don't count. So we don't have to succumb to that same position. So if we're comfortable with 9 and replacing Stephanie, and we should say that. If they want to make their own decision, they're entitled to that because we
Right.
recommend and they decide.
I mean, is everybody comfortable with that position? I mean, are you guys comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, right, Robert, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
I'm
right-
okay with that. I mean, that does make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we have 8 applicants, but what's the quality of those applicants and, you know, what's their motivation and all that? I mean, are they behind this? And so, yeah, I actually agree with Chris. Let's hold at 9. And then we can revisit.
I can live with that. Yeah.
so we are in the process of scheduling interviews. So we'll hold the interviews with the 8, 9 applicants and have an update after that.
What is and who does the interviews again?
It will be Michelle and Michael from the commission. And then Tom, you'll join as chair and
Okay.
Kelly will join as staff.
Right,
The members of the appointment committee.
right,
That's-
right,
yeah.
understand. And we'll make recommendations then, right, okay.
And I think and
That
a
sounds
very
fair.
good thing is, you know, list them, you know, first, second, third. I mean, again, it's. the
Yeah, yeah,
top three.
yeah, yeah,
If the
yeah.
top 3 are really tied and the
Sure.
top 3 are really, qualified.
Yeah.
Then come back and say, this is the best one, but boy, if we don't hire this one, and if we don't include these other 2, we might be missing, getting back to Brooke's point, we might be missing an opportunity.
Sure.
So I'm not.
No, no,
against
I got you,
expanding, I'm
I
just
got you.
Against the
Yeah.
You want to
procedural
do it
process of
strategically. We
Yeah.
want to do it smartly.
So-
Right, and that makes sense.
So what about timing here? What are we thinking in terms? I know, you know, scheduling interviews, it's summer, all kinds of stuff. So that's always a challenge to get all this stuff aligned. What do you think? You think by our next meeting, that's probably aggressive, huh? Maybe?
That would be my goal.
Yeah, okay, all
I
right,
know Abby's gonna start scheduling now.
okay. And so she's, okay, all right. I know, you know, you got 8 candidates and 4 interviewers. I mean, getting those calendars in sync is a challenge. I mean, I get it.
When I was on the appointment committee, I remember, I think it was the library board, they were like, we really need a finance person. So like, we did a lot of interviews, but we were really looking for that finance. We had
Sure.
great candidates, but we
This
were
is what you
looking
were
for
looking-
that
yep.
specific thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, is there any direction right now to the committee as far as what we want to fill this one vacant slot with? Or is it kind of open right now? Because maybe they do need a little direction for this
I
one.
mean, I don't know what the candidates are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's, we seem to be, there seems to be some pushback that we don't have enough West Side representation. You know, we have Brian and Chris,
Well, Brian
Tammy.
and Stephanie and me.
Mhm.
yeah.
So again,
Right.
if you go west side, you could
Yeah.
probably lean west side.
Yes, right. That's probably,
Stephanie's not on the board anymore.
That's-
But that's what we had.
Yeah,
that
that's
they-
probably what I would think, we would lean toward necessarily, but, you know, I hate to necessarily, be that narrow, I guess, you know, Brooke. I mean, if you get a really good candidate, they're a really good candidate, right? You like to think, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Any business owner that is even remotely competent
Yeah.
doesn't have a mentality of east side,
Well,
west side.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Anybody that's
Yep.
running a successful business,
Yeah, that's fair.
if they don't recognize the basic component of when the west side of the street does better, I do better.
Yeah.
High tide floats all
Yeah.
the boat.
Yeah.
We're all as strong as our weakest link. Like you can, any platitude you want to throw out there, there is no east side, west side. It's not that big of a town.
Yeah.
It's 4 blocks.
That's right. Yeah.
We,
fair.
it just
Yep.
isn't. So
Yep,
if
yep,
there's
yep.
anybody who's like, "Ooh, we're not being represented enough," first of all, that's bonkers. I mean, I sit in a unique position. I've owned a business on both sides
Sure,
of the street.
Sure.
They're they're the same. We're all the same downtown. We all should be rooting for the same thing and supporting the same goals and objectives on how to get to those goals. And anybody who comes in with a mindset about what about our side of the street? I mean, I personally wouldn't be interested in working with that person
Yeah,
because
Yeah, I
it's-
think, you know.
that's a bonkers.
I
mindset to
I
me.
don't disagree. I mean, I think in the interview process,
You'll ferret that out.
you flush it out. I mean,
The other way to say it is.
you know, if
single-
somebody's coming in with a single agenda, they're
Right.
probably not going to be very useful, to be frank with
That's
you.
the point. You want
But
somebody that
if,
doesn't
you know,
have
if
an
somebody
axe to
wants to participate in this group and be, you know, productive and add to the conversation and all that good stuff, then great, you know. I mean, I think that's what we're looking for, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I
Yeah.
want to pick up on the mayor's comments and also Deb, that maybe it's not as much about geography, but it's about skill set background.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
have- We have someone from the arts sector, we have restaurateur, we have landscape architect. I don't see a lawyer, I don't see a developer, I don't see a finance person. I know, Tom, you got a business background,
Yeah.
but the skill set can sometimes be helpful when thinking about what types of decisions are going to be coming before the board.
Right.
Especially as there's gonna be a TIF plan, there's gonna be development projects that need to be vetted, people looking for formas, so
Yeah.
that might be a way to think of it.
Phil was a lawyer and he added a very, I thought, unique and helpful perspective to any conversation we ever had, because, and he had an extensive knowledge about
Zoning and-
DDAs
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I thought he was lost when he
Yes.
resigned.
All right. So, you guys okay over there?
Mhm.
Yeah, right, very good.
Good, thank you.
All right, well, we'll look forward to what comes out of all that. Next item, new business, the Marquette project support. So I had thrown this on the agenda, and then in the interim, the gentlemen who are driving this Marquette project actually raised their hand and wanted to come to a meeting. So these things kind of crossed a little bit. So my original thought was that since the commission had provided their vote of confidence, if you will, in the project, that we should probably consider something similar. But now that they're coming the next meeting, it just seems logical. We should wait to hear their input, and then we can make a decision about whether we think that's a great idea or maybe not. So I guess I would say we park that for now. And the next meeting, these gentlemen will be, I assume it'll be Peter and Terry, I would guess. And they will come and give us an overview of the project, and we can ask questions and be great.
Yeah.
So. All right, Elm Street Strawberry Lot. Chris, I think this is your, you got a prop and everything here. I'm impressed here.
Mhm.
What were you referring to Elm Street as the nightmare on Elm Street?
We
once
were,
a-
but not
Once,
this one.
once upon
Not
a
this.
time.
Not yet.
I'm not
Let's see
sure
what
this
Chris
is in
has to
keeping
say.
with that, but, all right, help us out here, Chris.
Well, that puts in a good perspective, Tom, because I thought this building, when the carousel horses were done, and they had a horse that was the nightmare on Elm.
Oh, my God, about that.
Okay, all right.
Real. Obviously, I've been talking to all of the property owners along the street. We've been funneling through with this, for probably a couple of different months now. And probably the biggest reason for this precedent is the hotel being reconverted to the boutique hotel. Those people, John and Shannon, have been in front of the commission a different time, so we have agreed, city agreed to participate with them on the Oprah grant, which again is a program that really came through Andrew and his group, which gives you money to repurpose buildings that are obsolete, because that's not going to be a library. It was a library, it's no longer be a library. So that grant is for if you have a city hall, it's not going to be a city hall. A library is not going to be a library. A school is not going to be a school. Well, that's kind of the thrust of what that is. And so we've participated in that, with them, which again means that as they spend their money, they get some of it back as the taxes flow through because of the improvement. And then in addition to that, they came before the plan commission And actually got a variation from the Plan Commission to build a patio from the end of their building out to the sidewalk. So they got a variation in terms of the size of the patio as well as, they got a variation in terms of the size of the patio as well as for an awning for screening. And that was that's a giant step forward because the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals usually don't do things like that. But they wanted to have a place in combination with the patio, the liquor license, to be able to have people that are spending $450 or more a night for the room to be able to come back and have a place to enjoy it. Now, one of the things that has occurred as the church has objected to their liquor license, more from lack of information than really from anything else. And the issue there becomes the church is nervous about having that specific license, and Andrew can chime in on this, and I'm not talking about the liquor license, I'm talking about why we're doing this. They were afraid that the toehold of a liquor license would turn into another Mickey's at some time, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
And clearly they don't want that next to their church, and they certainly are able to have that type of a thought process. But we need to dispel that from them, that the liquor licenses are so specific in terms of place and membership. It's not open to the public, et cetera, et cetera. But it does help us get the downtown stuff that ends up working really well. And so to that end, I can show you that they, and that's John and Shannon. They've obviously written a letter of support.
They can pass it for you.
Yeah, thanks.
So the idea is that now if they have that and they're moving forward and they are successful, one of my tenants is an electrical contractor, has a bunch of big blue ugly vans that they use for their business. And if they're not parked on this side of the street, they're parked on that side of the street. So imagine a jalopy or some kind of an objectionable vehicle, either in terms of character or maintenance, or in terms of running the exhausts or loud music or something, parked within 5 feet of your patio. That's not going to be a inducement for the enjoyment of the people out on the patio. So that is what ended up spurring what we're trying to do here. This is the existing conditions map. I don't know whether you can see it, but just for comparison, the interlock between the pavement just south of us, this is Main Street, this is Elm Street, this is State Street. The parking lot bay here is 55 feet with 42 feet from the edge of the curb to the back of that aisle. The one next to it is 52 feet with a 34-foot back of island. And the reason I'm showing that in terms of all these parking spaces is to, in essence, set the stage. Set the stage for the interlock which we are proposing. So all we're proposing is that this, as I have just pointed out, this becomes a through lane to the east, which means it's moving traffic next to the patio, next to their enjoyment. They don't have cars with loud music playing. And then the westbound would be on the north side of the street, and all of the parallel parking, half from the south side, half from the north side.
It's two-way
would be
street,
permanent.
right, Chris?
Two-way street. Yeah, just like all the other,
Yep.
parking lots in town. But again, it's not exactly a parking lot. It's really no different than what Pleasant Street is now. Where you, between
Right.
Robert's office and Silver Harbor.
Silver Harbor.
That's a one-way street with parking on one side.
Yep.
Now that's angular parking. You can go to perpendicular parking. Because this is more of a through street, I would suggest that the 90-degree parking is worthwhile. What the table shows that you've got is we've got 17 parallel parking spaces on the street now. And by doing the perpendicular parking, we get 23. Now, because this is a freehand drawing, if in fact, rather than what I have crudely shown here, are 10-foot drawings, because at 1 inch equals 20 scale, each of those lines is probably 2 feet wide. So if we go to 9 feet, we can get 2 more parking spaces. So in our crunch for more parking, whether it's paid for or not paid for. Now, this is a case where more is less. So that's really the petition for what we're trying to do. I also have had conversations with MDOT. You guys can pass these around too. And basically talking with John Smith, who's the guy who is going to all of our committee meetings. I had a conversation with him before I started this to make sure that there was not a problem with expanding the curb radius on Main Street onto Elm Street. And so what you see there is one of the correspondence that we have back and forth. The depiction on the right-hand side is the copy of their plan that just shows keeping the parallel parking. Keeping the parallel parking the way it is. And then the little yellow line that he superimposed on top of the new scheme is that they can accommodate that if in fact it is what is recommended. Now,
Hey, Chris, do you remember if on Main Street at that intersection, is there a left turn lane if you're going north?
yeah, the left-hand turn lane is still there, and
I'm sorry?
the left-hand turn lane is still there. If you look at the lower right-hand corner, you
Yes.
can still see that. And we also have a enlarged pedestrian movement across here.
Yeah.
So this is the new parkway. These are 2 lanes going both ways, the
Yep.
median, and then again, a halfway point like we have.
So
at
this is Elm
221.
right here.
Yeah,
right.
and this is, the left-hand turn lane is still there.
It's a left-hand.
Yeah.
turn lane. Yeah.
And I think the
Does
benefit,
that plan on keeping that left-hand turn lane?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And the biggest thing that you can see on this is that rather than having the curb stop here, which is where this solid line is, the curb would come all the way out to here. So this gives us a much bigger orientation for directing traffic as we get our downtown streetscape improvements, as we get everything else going. It's going to be a big, and here's your left-hand turn bay, Tom. It gives a real good identification for the
Entryway.
south end of our downtown. And one other thing I guess I forgot to tell is I've talked with Jeff, who still owns Sanitary Cleaners. He's only renting the corner to Zilke. He owns the rest of this, and he has visions of turning that into some kind of retail shops. As he moves his equipment out of the back end of the building, he wants to redevelop it as retail shops, long term. So he's a big supporter of it also. Now, to plan, so that's what we want to try and investigate and move to the next level. As an alternate,
How many parking spaces? Imagine that adds quite a few parking spots.
6 more.
6 more. Yeah.
Well, 6 more or 8 more if you go to 9 feet. And again, my plans are suggestions from the plans and things that I talk about. They need to go through another filter with real dimensions and real surveys and
Sure.
real things like that.
Sure.
This is accurately drawn and the scale is true, but it might be off a foot or two one way or the other. We haven't actually, the state told me that from this curb to this curb is 40 feet. So with an 18-foot parking stall, you have 2 11-foot wide lanes, which is exactly the same 11-foot lanes that they're using on Main Street in terms of their new design concepts.
Hey, Chris, I remember we had this discussion about what was it, the cleaners?
Yes.
Access to the street and unloading and unloading and all this kind of stuff. I noticed here in your drawing, you have like outside that door, looks like a hatch to.
Correct. That is his
So would you
loading
have like a
zone.
no parking
Yes.
area there?
The Zelke needs to keep that because that's where they pick up and deliver. So that's the same thing. Right now, you've got 2 parallel parking spaces
Yeah.
from the State Street to that loading zone. So you got, 20 feet.
Do we have a marked loading zone there now?
Yes.
We do, okay.
Yeah.
Because I always get a little bit nervous about accommodating, making a specific thing for a particular business, because then we get, then we get all kinds of other people wanting, hey, I need this, I need this. I need that.
That's just reflecting what's already there.
Okay,
And the handicap parking stalls, which will
Yep.
still accommodate those.
yep,
The 30-minute parking stalls will, I'm not suggesting changing any
Just
of those.
leave it,
I'm
yeah.
saying
gotcha.
incorporate those existing conditions into whatever we end up, finally determining which way to go.
I got you.
So again, because I can't leave well enough alone, and obviously want to always direct the thought process in terms of parking. The next exhibit shows a circulation revision for lot 7, which is the Strawberry. And the reason for that is that presently the access comes in off of State Street in 2 different locations. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reason that it comes in off of State Street is that there were parallel parking spaces here, which excluded you can't drive through a car when it's parked on the street. When this becomes a through lane, then access can be off of the through lane, and the 2 extra parking spaces you get by closing this and the 2 extra parking spaces you get by closing that end up in a potential opportunity, for us, and drives the number of parking by just reevaluating the circulation. So what this shows is a parking lot that comes in, circulates around, and comes back out. But most importantly, and this goes back to the church and goes back to the license and goes back to the historic hotel, I'm showing parking spaces, angled parking spaces off of the alley. And by doing that, we end up going from 56 spaces to 62 spaces. So
In the
we're
lot,
getting,
in the
we're
lot.
getting, yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting a lot, and we're getting more than that. And the same thing is true, you can get 6 more if these are 9-foot wide spaces opposed to 10-foot wide spaces. But the ulterior motive behind the angled parking on the alley is to, number one, have these angled spots be very convenient and directional to the church and accommodate them as the growth of the hotel and of the sanitary cleaners. In my businesses, we all get going, they kind of get a preferred location as relates, to those extra parking spaces that we're able to generate. So really, so just kind of a way to think of what happens. Now, that's a future when and if we develop and or look at Lot 7 as an alternative. And then, of course, if you put it all together, it looks like that.
And the lot, I mean, is it basically just restriping that lot?
No, it's a whole redo.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to change the.
well, I know the cuts, you gotta,
Lanes
yeah,
in
no,
and out.
I know, but I mean, the lot itself is just restriped, right?
No.
No, okay,
It'd because it's oriented this way and this way, and then this is the raised island where we're having
oh, you gotta
accessibility issues.
pull that out, okay.
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 Now, the other thing that goes back to.
I didn't know it had
these-
something like that in the middle.
Yeah, these existing parking lots, and it goes back to what are the design criteria for the redesign of
Sure.
the parking? These bays are 60-foot interface, which is more than what we're doing on street, more than what exists around
Sure.
here. It's the same 60-foot interface or bay spacing that we're using here on the Broad Street lot.
Sure,
If in fact you decided to go to angled parking, you end up getting 8 more feet because you can have a 52-foot wide spacing as opposed to a 60-foot wide spacing with one-way traffic angled, okay? And with that, you could get 16 more feet of green space across this island.
Yep.
So you could put 8 more feet here and 8 feet between the angled parking and the parking lot, or you could go, 4, 4, 8. There's a whole bunch of things you can do by incorporating with one-way directional parking lots as opposed to 2. You get a lot more green space, which
Sure.
is, again, that's how you have the same square footage generate, more parking spaces.
and the work on Elm Street, not the parking lot, but the work on Elm Street you're suggesting, is that just striping?
That's just striping.
Yeah.
That's just striping.
So Emily, Kelly, if this is something we were inclined to support, how would this have to happen? I mean, what would be the process? The engineer would have to look at it, and I imagine, I don't know, you help me, what has to?
I would. So as you know, we tabled doing the hair lot.
11.
Formerly known as.
Formula, like, it's like, what was that? Who was that? Prince? Prince, yeah,
no,
sorry.
Kelly makes
Right,
that
Prince.
joke all the time.
Prince, thank you.
The lot formerly known as 11, hair lot was tabled, because of the cost. And so I believe that in this year's budget, instead of putting 1.7 for that, we put in some money for redesigning some additional lots,
Oh,
right? Because we didn't want to skip a year.
sure.
So what we could do is have the designs for the fair lot as well as the Healthy Crisp.
Strawberry,
lot,
strawberry.
Strawberry lot on the shelf and ready to go. So what I would recommend is that perhaps this group direct staff to make the strawberry lot our next focus for designing. And we can take all of this into account as we do that.
Do you need separate input on the Elm issue versus the parking lot, or is this
Well,
kind
and
of a?
again,
Yeah.
I'm here on Elm. I holistically, I care about what happened on lot 7. But the 5 business owners, only are interested in Elm Street.
I guess
Would like
that's,
to
I
do
guess
that
that's
sooner
what I'm
rather than-
asking. Should we, maybe, because the parking lot's gonna take some time, obviously. So is there
It
a,
would take time.
does it make an issue to push the Elm piece, maybe?
I'm trying to think through it. I
Yeah.
think If the DDA wants to see this explored, I think the next step would be to have some internal conversations with
Sure.
Fred. Talk about what would be required and maybe come back to this group.
Okay.
And, you guys as a group are actively deciding on priorities.
Sure.
And I think you would need to think about where this fits. I think, Chris, I think this is fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I also recognize that it's not part of our downtown vision master plan
Sure.
or any of the things that we have previously prioritized for where we would spend money, whether it's DDA tip revenues or parking revenues
Right,
or
right.
anything else. Which isn't to say that priorities can't change,
Sure.
but we would need direction in order to do that. But I think we could start having some preliminary discussions of both whether Strawberry Lot makes sense to be next as
Yep.
a rebuild and whether Elm Street, what it would look like to
Yep.
configure Elm
Yep.
Street in this way and come back to you.
Yeah, and you're really not you're not doing anything on Elm Street because that curb stays the same and that curb stays the same.
I
So
guess
this
that's
really
why I
is
asked. It's a
encouraging-
striping
Yeah,
exercise.
this encourages
that-
me to do condos on my 2nd and 3rd floor of my building. It encourages sanitary cleaners to
Sure.
convert the spot into
Sure.
retail
Sure.
because you've got primary spaces here, again, paid or unpaid.
Yeah, right,
And
right.
again, I think that and so that's the main thrust behind here. The seed is only being planted on lot 7. Lot 7 can come to the surface when
Yeah.
lot 7
I
comes
mean,
to the surface.
I guess, I don't know, what the thoughts are. I mean, this Elm Street thing seems pretty logical to me. I don't.
I would love to hear kind of the same question to Chris. What are the next steps once we give you direction on Elm Street? What are the next steps that you go through? What's the process?
Well, exactly what Emily said. If
Yeah.
I want the DDA direction in terms of giving us some input to get
Sure.
this going and moving in this direction, and again, I'm only Nancy Bart, if you plant a seed, you get a tree. And so I'm planting
So
a seed
you're
and
looking for
hopefully.
like just a letter, some kind of.
Yeah,
some
support,
kind of resolution of
support, yeah.
support for
Yeah,
this.
and if you feel comfortable in terms of agreeing with just restriping and preparing the Elm Street, then you can also sit there and change the sequencing of the parking lots, because I think lot 7 was closer to the top before we switched to lot 11 being closer to
Yeah.
the top. So,
Yeah.
but every lot, I'm not
Yeah,
making the
right,
determination
right,
of which lot's next.
Pick
So
your
this is not-
poison,
This is
right?
not
I
to
mean, yeah, right,
advocate
right.
for lot 7, it's to advocate for Elm Street.
Yeah.
But by doing this, you set the tone
Opens
for
it up.
more parking
That's right.
spaces on 7.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to me to be a little sequential. I mean,
Yeah, Makes
because
sense.
the Elm thing is obviously easier to execute and
Right.
probably significantly less costly.
Well,
Depending.
I'm no engineer and
Ah,
I'm not a public works
okay,
director.
okay.
But I have learned a thing or two about accessibility.
Sure, right.
And I would think that if you're going to be restriping, we need to look at handicap spaces.
Sure, fair enough.
Anytime
enough.
you touch anything.
Okay, so maybe what we
Might
need to,
not be
yeah,
as easy as restriping.
okay. I mean,
Are there
so,
handicap spots?
I-
On both corners.
yeah, they're on
Yeah,
both
would
corners.
happen.
So I think, I get the sense of the group here. I mean, we're supportive of this approach here, subject to, working out the details.
Exactly.
I mean, so, Emily, we'll leave it in your and Kelly's capable hands to to take up with wherever you got to take up, and maybe you come back to us the next meeting and say, yeah, we got this all worked out, we're gonna do Elm Street, or no, we ran into this obstacle and we got to
Or we
rethink this.
Come and tell you what it would cost.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Sure, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
We're flush right now, so maybe. we'll,
And the most important thing is to make a decision, hopefully this way, so that the curb return on Main Street can be incorporated into
Yes,
the plan
right,
that they're
right.
doing now, because we don't want to not do this.
Yeah, right,
Fix
right.
Main Street and then decide to do this in a year.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
they,
no, that makes
they,
all-
well, get them to pay for it too. I mean, it's,
got it.
because they'll include it in that project.
They-
They won't even flinch at it, I'm
As you can see in the letter, it doesn't make any difference to them, but they take their direction from the city,
Yeah,
not from
right.
five property owners.
No, I got you. Okay, so, is that what helping you, Kelly? You know what,
Staff work and.
great. Thanks,
work out.
Chris. Thanks for
Thank
all
you.
that. Thanks for all that hard work. I know, that takes a little doing to figure out the angles and sizes.
It
and
does.
Lots and curves and all that good stuff.
Tom, I think Andrew had a comment.
Andrew, go ahead. Sure.
Awesome stuff. It's great to see the creativity and the
Yep.
use of the space and finding, more ways to use the finite resource of land, more parking. I'm gonna throw a wrench and just remind everyone that this feels like one step forward and then 2 steps back when MDOT takes away, 17 parking spots on Main Street. So.
Yeah.
Just my little, hopefully not too snide comment on that, but.
Well,
It's great to increase inventory, but we're also.
Yeah, maybe it's a balance, that you
Yeah.
get some, you lose some.
I don't know, personally, I'm okay with the MDOT thing, but that's discussion for another day, maybe, huh? All right, what do we have here next? We have monthly reports. So, I think, Kelly, anything you want to highlight on we've got the initiative status and,
Yeah, I mean, just, I kind of cleaned this up just a little bit.
Yep, yep,
I got some of the stuff
yep,
that's been on
great.
for a while that we all know. Parking obviously has changed
We're-
from green to,
are we 0 for 2 on the RAP grant?
we are over 2 on the
Right,
RAP grant.
we're just, I think when
Yeah.
they see St. Joseph on the application of a grant, it must immediately go in the no pile, doesn't it? I mean,
Time's gonna be the charm.
Third time will be the charm, yeah.
third time's a charm. That's right.
Remember that the Silver Beach Pizza location
Yes,
had 7 failed restaurants before Silver Beach bought it.
yeah, right,
7.
right. No, I went in a number of those, I recall, and they weren't very good, as I recall too. Okay, well, my other analogy would be as a baseball analogy. You only get a hit 1 out of 3 times, you're a superstar.
Right.
So there we go. All
First
right, so
time's
we've got
charm.
that covered. What else?
Really just on that one, like I said, I just kind of cleaned it up. Parking's on hold, obviously.
Yep.
I missed the June grant, T-Mobile grant, just with parking. So there's another deadline on the 30th.
All right,
Hope to submit one of those to be determined on what project. Maybe Court Place, we'll talk about that. But yeah, this one's just kind of the update. I am gonna be reaching out to the Pleasant Street Plaza group, because that agreement is up this year.
okay, can we get it
I
extended?
have,
Yes.
it's on my calendar. It was on my calendar when I was out last week. I'm
All
gonna
right. Yep.
email that
Yep.
group,
Yep.
today or tomorrow, just to set up a meeting, to see where you wanna go with that. So more to come on that.
What about RRC, redevelopment ready? Do we have, we've submitted a bunch of stuff, I think?
Just sliding the mic.
Slide
Yeah.
them up.
RRC, I have admittedly put
Sure.
put the brakes on,
Put the
pushed
brakes on?
pause.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
well,
having
yeah.
trouble with my metaphors.
Slowed
Slowed
down.
my roll.
Yeah.
We were really aggressively working on RRC as it related to the YWCA property and
Yes,
potentially the city's
Yes.
property.
yes.
Obviously, we have a developer who came in who is interested in those properties without RRC or any of the sort
Yeah,
of bells
sure.
and whistles that come along with
Yep,
RRC.
yep.
In talking with MEDC, they were like, oh yes, definitely hold some of the RRC benefits for a different project,
Oh, all
which
right.
we are doing. And with everything with parking,
Yeah, yeah,
we've not
Understood.
had time.
understood.
That said, we are newly reinvigorated and
Reinvigorated.
rededicated to finishing RRC and getting the certification. It's time. So we actually have just been talking about it and we'll get back on it.
Do you think, is this something like by year end? kind of
I
thing?
think that's very
Okay.
reasonable.
All right.
Yes, we
Okay.
don't have that many items
I know,
outstanding.
I know, we were very,
We were
a lot of
very
hard work
close.
had been done on this
Yes,
already.
we were very close.
Yep.
So I
Right.
think that that is very reasonable.
All right.
I have a question about Port Place Plaza, because it's been put on hold a number of times for very legitimate reasons. The last one being the RAP grant that we didn't get. But like, if you look at the thing, the Patronicity launch was hopefully gonna happen early 2025. And like I said, it got put on hold because, well, if there was gonna be a lot more money, then it would change the
Right.
scope of the project.
Yep.
Is that gonna be reactivated now, or?
Yeah.
I think we can put our heads together. We were working closely with Cornerstone on it to figure out timing. But yes, as you said earlier, it is still in the budget. And we can think about,
Yeah,
we should pull Greg in as well because Public Works was going to be involved. We can figure out what that timing looks like. You know, it's spring at earliest. And so we can sort of backwards map that to when we should do the patronicity.
I mean, yeah, this is, I've always hoped that this could be a grander thing, but, hope is like, well,
Progress
is what
still
it's worth,
progress.
right? So I think, yeah, maybe we're now at a point where let's just
I mean,
concentrate.
there was
on
an
this.
original plan
let's
for the
do-
money that was
Let's,
already
let's do
found
something
and
and
allocated. Could we please do that as well?
quit waiting for Nirvana to happen because it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Because
All right. Retail activity, I see we got our map. So some interesting things here. I was looking at this. So we have like 4 vacancies, I think
Mhm.
is what I'm kind of targeting now. So I was thinking part of the discussion of this little development group could be those items. Now, a few things that caught my attention was potential new restaurants. So I imagine this is in a secretive discussion right now.
Oh, that's secretive. It's
Yeah.
just things that have been kind of passed on to me that, I don't have names or specifics, but I know there's some interest in a couple of the downtown locations. So,
Right?
as I find out, you'll find out.
Curious, did these come to you like unsolicited kind of things?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So people just reached out to the city and said,
Yeah.
hey, we're interested in doing X.
One of them is interested in one of the liquor licenses, the redevelopment liquor
Ah, right,
licenses.
right,
So
right.
that's one,
Of course.
and then,
Yeah, okay.
so that's
All
the
right.
bummer. We just found out on Friday that Lilac Loft is closing on the 27th of July. She posted that on Facebook. So, that's number 11 on the map.
I mean, in the off season, she was open one day a week.
Yeah.
So
Can I jump in on the vacancies? You
Please.
mentioned the group focusing in
Yeah.
on that.
Well, partially, yeah.
Lilac Loft, just as a side note, she got married. Great. Her new husband, I think, lives like an hour away. I mean, her life
Yep.
changed. And
Yep.
so, she very specifically said it wasn't the parking,
Because she
actually,
was
in her
really-
post. which
In
which
fact,
I
the parking
appreciated
helped
her
her
saying.
business, she told us. right? No,
But
no.
I wanted to add on the others. 316 State Street, former location of Beachside Deli, remains vacant.
Yes,
We could probably update our wording there because that space is leased.
oh, it's leased.
And that tenant pays their rent every month,
yeah,
to
it's
the
been
best
leased
of
the
my
entire
knowledge.
time.
And it's been 3 years, 3 summers that way. They have not opened. I don't know why.
What
but
what
it-
were they going to do? Do we know?
We do, and I'm not gonna
Oh, okay.
share it
okay.
publicly.
Yep, yep.
But it is, vacant is maybe not the word, right? There's no business there. It looks vacant when you walk
Yes.
by, but there is a lease, an
Huh.
active lease.
Yeah,
Okay.
plan for something.
Mandate that they have to, I mean.
We don't have
we're in
any-
downtown full of
we-
these buildings that are.
Yeah, you're correct. We don't have that. I know that things like that exist.
Yeah.
We could look into, I think there's some kind of like a vacancy tax or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, we could look into something like that.
So we don't really have much leverage on these kinds of things.
Vacant
do
building ordinance, Muskegon has one
Yeah.
that
That'd
You
be
know,
wonderful, thank you.
part of the issue with that particular location is that, how do I say it? It looks like no.
Yeah, we finally got them to paper their windows,
You know, I
which
mean,
is
it just,
progress.
it just,
Yeah,
it
the
sat like
business,
that, you know, it's unfortunate. I
It
mean,
is.
yeah.
Well, Andrew, is there any way to get
Okay,
them
thanks.
capital
Take
help?
care.
Because that's the issue. The issue is the tenant don't have money to complete the renovations that are necessary for the business they want to operate.
So often these ordinances will have if your building is vacant, you have to pay a fee and it starts modest and it escalates with time.
Mhm.
And then those fees can go into a pool that can be used to fix code issues or other things with the buildings that are preventing them from being leased. So there are
Yeah.
some creative ways. I don't know the storefront or what you're talking about, but if you're doing them right, it's not a punitive thing. It's
Yeah.
something that can be helpful.
Yeah.
It's the one
These
right next
people
to
wanna
Jimmy
move
John's.
forward, They just don't have the money. They're caught in the trap that they can afford the lease, but they don't have the capital to open the store they want. And that's,
that's my
That's right.
understanding.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
so,
Well-
so they need money. And again, banks aren't open for business yet. In terms of businesses, because you just saw one that I had a business and I got married and moved out of town. Well, that's why banks don't start up
Right, right.
businesses. Don't get involved.
Well, I mean, I think this, to me, this kind of ties into the type of businesses you're attracting and the screening process for that whole discussion, because you know, if there was some involvement where you get into who you attract to these spaces, and, you know,
Mhm.
hopefully you've done a little due diligence that they're gonna do what they say they're gonna
And the
do.
benefit that we
you know.
have, if we had a pool of money coming in
Yeah.
and with the TIF district
Yeah.
and things like that, we, the DDA, could help in a situation like.
Sure.
Yeah, I
sure.
understand the city used to have some kind of a revolving fund that was used for
Yeah.
this purpose.
So we don't have any plans occurring for this situation.
No,
right
no
now?
plans have been
Okay.
filed.
All right.
I think that they have reached out to the city
Yep.
somewhat recently
Yep,
to talk
yep.
about plans, but I don't know of anything active. And then I was also going to share that number 5, 608 Pleasant Street, the vacancy in the back of the St. Joe Today building. I know there are active plans there. So I would actually flip that one to green for our next meeting.
Well, that's, yeah, good. All right, very good. Well, we'll look forward to hearing more information about open items. What else? Anything on the tracker we need to talk about? Do we need to talk about these parking lot things formally, or no?
I think, yeah, was strawberry and peach always the plan? for the next
That's
spot?
what Tim sent me. That was what I was gonna say, is that was from Tim, from our engineer, so.
So
I
those were
don't-
the next ones on the hit list?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's in keeping,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's in keeping with that.
It's like-
all right.
All right,
And
Um,
I have
how
a
convenient.
quick question on the tracker.
Sure.
Pleasant Street resurfacing?
Mhm.
Yep,
Is that, I just want to make sure I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah.
Where is that from, where to where?
from,
Lake Boulevard to Court. You excited?
Oh, yeah.
Lake Boulevard to Court.
I would dance, but it might not be appropriate, so we'll
Lake
just,
Boulevard to
I'm dancing
Court.
inside.
Okay.
Yeah, that's overdue.
Yeah.
That's overdue, so yeah, very excited.
We had a
And
little
that's
bit-
this fall?
We had a little bit of money left from some other projects. and Tim
Fantastic.
recommended
See, but
Pleasant Street.
the interesting thing about this is another thing where, you know, you never get the sequence of events right, you know what I mean? Because the reality is, we're gonna spend and do is, and then who knows, in 2 years, you may be ripping it all up and doing something different. But, you know, you can never, I don't know, one thing I've learned doing this now for a couple of years, you can never get the timing
You can.
exactly the way you would like to do it. And the result then is we end up, you know, doing some things that, anyway, okay. All right, let's see here. This young lady has been waiting patiently, the entire meeting. So, we're at public comment. So maybe if you tell us your name and what you'd like to talk about, we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Well, my name is Kathy Zerler.
Hold on, Kathy, let's, we gotta give you the,
We don't need the.
yeah, we gotta see. Yeah, we might just sing a song at the end too, so.
Okay, my name is Kathy Zerler and I was born and raised here. And
I've lived in my home at 548 Ridgeway for 44 years.
Wow.
In the interim of all my schooling and everything, I've traveled extensively in this country and internationally. And I can say with authority, St. Joseph is a really special place on Lake Michigan. We are a peninsular city, like the state is a peninsula. We have so many amenities, and that's why we have a parking problem, which is really not why I'm here, because I know that you've heard a lot of things about that. Um, I am a professional writer. During my tenure at St. Joseph Today, I was the longest running executive director for St. Joseph Today in the 80s and the 90s.
Oh, wow.
And then I went on to work as a writer for Cornerstone Alliance. But in that whole time of being in St. Joseph Today, I figured out my job was to raise money for activities. Your job was to write grants for bricks and mortar. And I was here with the first DDA. And we met monthly. And when I was at St. Joseph Today, I met with the merchants monthly. We had annual meetings. We all knew each other. We socialized. The meetings often ended in the bar. And sometimes we were just, going into people's houses, but it was a different time. And I know I'm out of the loop right now, so I just wanted to kind of give you that information, that writing for me, I never was a reporter. I was a feature story writer, and I wrote features about people and businesses in this community that do the right things for the right reasons, and also a lot of art and travel information. So we worked very, very closely. St. Joseph Today worked very closely with the DDA. I came to every single meeting and every single city commission meeting when I was working at St. Joseph Today. So we all knew what we were doing, and we talked to people. And I understand the frustration of doing this parking thing, but it was mostly online. And unless somebody is really, really interested, like you all are in the day to day, that's where it slips through the cracks. Kelly said you just found out about somebody on Facebook, a business closing on Facebook. Well, I don't care. I don't follow that type of communication as much. And during in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, before we had so much of the internet, we surveyed the community, the citizens, the property owners, the businesses, to see what would be a good fit. And in the early renovations, which started in the 1970s with DDA money, that was when we got the one-way streets and the bricks were there, and we widened the sidewalks, and we put in the decorative lighting and the pocket parks, because the thought was, we are a beautiful green town with Lake Boulevard, the Bluff Park, the Arboretum. A lot of those, not Lake Bluff Park, but the Arboretum was funded by the Upton Foundation. That was purchased, and that was part of that. And a lot of what Tammy's doing with outdoor public art comes from foundation money. There just was a lot of cooperation and collaboration. And I remember when I first got the job, there were 18 vacancies in the downtown. That was also my job. In addition to raising money for my own salary and my 3-hour-a-day assistant, that was a big thing. But it was also finding people to fill those vacancies. And it took about 2 years. And we had a lot of help, a lot of people. So, I want to just also just say I had a lot more to say on a lot of things to back up my credibility, but I am so pleased at the way that you, Mr. Golick, ran this meeting, and all of you participated in a
You're very
very,
kind.
very informal but professional way. And I met 2 weeks ago with Emily and Tom Zebel, and she invited me to come to this meeting, and here I am. You were a very, very active listener. And I want to just say, I feel a whole lot better now that I've met you and come to this meeting, because I'm actively out of the loop. I'm retired. I like my house on the lake. I like my cats and all of that. So what, and my husband, of course, I love him. And we're both retired. What I really want, my real point here that I will just cut to the chase to is when I was there, Christmas was the big time. That's when the merchants made it or didn't make it. If they didn't make their money at Christmas,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of turnover. But we had a beautiful bricks and mortar that the DDA, we had the beautiful downtown that you see now with the small town charm that draws people from the big cities to come here. But now it's different. It's flip flop. Now it's the 3 months in the summer when they make their money.
Hmm.
And if they don't make it during the 3 months of the summer, they don't make it. And you know that's true because that I assume your comment, Ms. Saylor, was about the t-shirt shop. I feel the same way. It's closed most of the year, but they make their nut in 3 months. And that's not helping the downtown to have that big corner space closed all year.
Yeah.
And having said that, we tried as a group, as groups of groups, with people that were, not always like-minded. There were a lot of rigorous discussions, and when they got too rigorous, we formed a subgroup. And we said, okay, you guys go battle it out, and we then listened to that group. The property owners have the right to do whatever they want to do with their property. So we were actively involving the property owners and trying to get them on the side of, let's make this town cohesive to bring in, and our thought then was 2/3 of our shoppers were going to be the city, the residents, and 1/3 was going to be tourists. Well, yeah, I don't know what the numbers are anymore, but I wanted to just point out that be careful with the parking in terms of the downtown because they need the revenue, and also the employees are young and they're not going to pay for parking and be a waiter or a clerk in any one of the stores. And we have a lot more employees that are young that aren't in school right now. So, there's all those things to consider. And you've learned a lot. And I truly, in my heart, I believe the reason that everybody was taken by surprise is that we're all doing our own thing. We're not, laser focused on the city website. I mean, I was the one that introduced the city website. And it was talk about the nightmare on M Street. We had somebody that volunteered actually that had some interest in developing it. And for the first several months, they misspelled bandshell as bombshell. And it took forever to get that stuff corrected because everything was much slower. So, do take a little bit of interest in what happened historically. You are an integral part of this because you have that bricks and mortar money to improve the downtown. And you need people to, not St. Joseph's Today is not part of the city. It is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. When it was first started, it was started with a paid executive from Whirlpool who walked around and told all the merchants, I'm setting up St. Joseph Today now. And they said, what? And he explained it. They had John Stubblefield was at the People's State Bank, which is now the little sports outfitters shop. They gave us free rent in one of their upstairs buildings. So there was all of this collaboration. And my late husband worked at Whirlpool, and I always worked for nonprofits. So when they offered me the job, I didn't negotiate. I said, yippee, that is just right up my alley. And I didn't care about the money. I didn't care I didn't have any benefits because I had them. And I really was like a paid volunteer. In fact, my husband once offered me $500 a week to quit the job because I spent my money in the town. I shopped and I still do. So what we need is that spirit of volunteerism, that spirit of humanity for people to do things like this book. And I wrote this and I wrote 4 other books, and the city did not pay for any of them. And all the money for my first 2 books went to St. Joseph Today. there's a chapter in here on the DDA and the origins of the DDA. And all these books are in the libraries, in all the public libraries around here. So I don't really see much of that spirit of, let me just help. But I do know there's foundations, corporate, personal, Corwell, I mean, they all have foundations that if they see, and all the family foundations, we've got 5 family foundations that include the Berrien Community Foundation. There's all these ways that we can engage so that we are not alone here. We're all connected to everything else that's going on around us. And I probably even said too much already, but I want to just say, I'm really grateful for you and your active listening. And I'm sorry that Mayor Thomas left. I have not been to a commission meeting since she's been there. And I probably won't come for a while. I mean, I don't know, I might.
Yeah.
But you made me feel really good. You all did, because all of your comments were well respected, well heard, and diverse. And you're working well together. So, any questions for me?
Well, so we're grateful for you to come to the meeting and share your experiences. Unfortunately, you know, Paul Knapp, the head of St. Joseph today, he's at our meetings all the time.
He's
Oh, he
usually
is?
here.
He's at our meetings all the
We're on an
time.
off week this
So,
week.
so he's, you know, not here today, unfortunately. So, but we're grateful for your input. It's
Mhm.
it's good to hear feedback in a positive way. Quite honestly, it's been a little bit rough. I'll say the last few months, but I think you're right. At the end of the day, it's you know, people all want to do the right thing, and that's certainly what this group's all about. And I think most of the people in this community feel the same way. So, you know, hopefully we can kind of continue to get to that point. Is there anything that I'm listening to you describe all your experiences? Is there anything you want to do that we might entice you to help us with? You seem like you have a lot of experience in a lot of things that might be of interest to us.
And thank you. I will think about that.
Sure, please.
One of the things that Emily and Tim told me is St. Joseph Improvement Association no longer exists.
Hmm.
And that was a group widely spread. It included Whirlpool executives. The head of the first EDA was the CEO of Whirlpool, Jack Sparks, who was born and raised here.
Hmm.
He's the one that was responsible for renovating the Washington School into the Berrien Community, or the Berrien County building.
Yeah.
And so all those kinds of people were involved. So
Mm.
I would say one thing it would be to really reach out, and maybe they're already involved, with all the people with foundation money.
Mhm.
They all have grants for specific things. And they want to help. We love our town. We love the small town charm. And the fishing, the waterfront, all of the water recreation, all that's integral. And the downtown is the hub.
Sure.
It is where everybody is drawn to. And so, be careful with the parking by Tammy. Be careful with the parking as you move forward. I understand it's not a done deal. I think that the balance is coming to making it work, but not, not causing a lot of hardship for the workers. In the wintertime, there were a lot of single women that worked in the clothing stores, and we had a lot of women's clothing stores, and they were widows, and they parked in the lots down here by the Boulevard Hotel. That's where they were supposed to park. And in the wintertime, somebody would walk them home because it was dark when they left. And in the wintertime, there was also a lot more parking spaces in the downtown. So they parked in front of their store, much like Jimmy John's does. It really irks me that there's 4 Jimmy John's cars with big signs on them that are parked right around that corner.
Yeah.
As they deliver their food. So all that stuff impacts it. And the last thing I'll just say is, historically, parking is a problem for historic towns because they weren't built for cars. They were built, this town came about in 1864, I think. It's in one of my books. I write them down and then I forget the details.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you thanks for taking the time to come and talk with us. We really appreciate your input and we'll look forward to your come and see us again anytime.
If there's anything specific that we can talk about it.
Yeah, great.
I'm an active retiree, let me just say that. I've done a lot of boards even now, which I'm not fond of meetings anymore.
Yeah, understood. That's great. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. All right, let's see here. All right, any board member comments
I
before
have
we wrap?
two
Please.
quick- I'll try and go quick
Please.
because I know we're way over time.
No,
but,
it's okay.
You thought you highlighted stuff for no reason, but the thing you highlighted actually.
I did that.
Oh, you did that?
Did I say that? You did that?
I
So-
did that.
Oh, okay.
I can
so-
tell you why.
Well, because I think I know why, because I have a concern or something I want to point out on tonight's commission agenda, and I wish Mayor was still here.
What?
The Lake Boulevard banners, it just says the DDA recommends doing them, and then the second, on page 68 of tonight's agenda meeting, it's got the ones we were presented with, and we quite specifically took the Life is Precious banner out, and it's in tonight's agenda packet as being presented as one of the banners that's gonna be.
I
on.
highlighted this for the packet tonight, and this
Okay.
should be in tonight's packet.
Okay,
I don't know how it carried through, and I apologize. I kind of know how it carried through. I had a really hard time making it work. But it should, the minutes from the DDA meeting should be in the packet. I
they
will
are, but
double
then
check.
on page 67, the proposal just says they want the city commission to approve these banners, and it doesn't say anything about it when you get to it actually being on the agenda.
Does the motion say with the exception of the?
No, it does not.
I really thought I had written it up that
And
way,
again, I
but I will
think-
fix it.
I
Thank you,
think our
Deb.
action was to permit him to use them this year because of the snafu. It was not an endorsement of it. We didn't actually endorse it. We just sat there and permitted him to do it because he bought the signs and
Right.
I said something better than nothing. But there's no support in terms of
Right.
his thought process.
Well,
That particular
or
one
an
as well as others.
ongoing, an
Exactly.
ongoing.
So again, I thought we had written it up to say just for this summer.
Yeah.
Through the
No,
end of the
it's-
summer and without the Life is Precious. I will double
Minimum.
check. Our system is not great and we do have version control issues from time to time, or
Yeah.
sometimes my memory is not great. So I don't know,
Yeah,
but I will double check it and make sure we've got it right
Yeah.
before.
So yeah,
tonight.
this just says that staff is requesting permission to place the banners purchased, and then it's got a picture of the banners
Yes.
purchased, but it does not exclude that one, so.
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Mhm.
Good catch, Deb.
So you'll get that cleaned up
I
at the
sure will.
meeting.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else, anybody? I had a couple of things real quick. So Kelly, next time, maybe we put the TIF thing on the agenda status, and then the DDA liquor license thing is, I know, near and dear to our
That was my
hearts.
next one,
Sorry.
because I had
Yeah.
two things, that was. my
So
one.
both of those, I know you're,
Yep.
as time is freeing up for you, these are things that are
Those two
becoming
things
more
are
active.
my priorities right
Okay.
now. I'm meeting, as I mentioned to
Yep,
you
yep.
and Andrew, I'm meeting with our assessor this week on the redeveloped liquor license to get the city side done.
Yep,
My goal, hope, after I talk to Emily, is to bring that to commission at the next meeting, not tonight, but the 28th. So
the DDA, the liquor license.
the liquor
thing.
license, the
Yep.
redevelopment liquor license, and then TIF is an absolute priority right now.
Yes, yeah, well,
So
there's a timing issue, I know,
parking
Tip.
just kind of,
No, understood.
I feel like we've
understood.
said that a lot, but parking.
Well, it was,
It was a thing.
Yep, yep.
So.
No, we
yep.
got it.
But it was.
Very good. All right. Motion to adjourn? So moved. There we go. Good. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
We don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming, Kathy. We appreciate your time.
Well, I'm impressed.
Oh, well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, talk to you.
All right.
Thanks for the reminder text.